In today's video, we'll talk about the 5 best Lumix Zoom lenses for the S9. And before you skip ahead thinking, I know everything about that, don't. Because the lens that ended up being my favorite was not what I expected at all. This is not going to be a full review. We'll talk about the pros and the cons of each of those lenses, their best use case, and I'll have a unique insight for you that you won't find on any other creator's channel. So grab a coffee, maybe a cookie, and be ready for some surprises. Hi friends, Dirk here. Okay, the first one is not really a surprise. The Lumix 18-40mm, one of the most underrated kit lenses. It currently retails at $548, but I saw it often for less than $400. Fun little quirk, you have to turn this ring to wake it up. If you forget, your camera will sit there thinking, nope, I'm on a break. Although the optical design is very simple, we have 8 elements in 7 groups, the image quality is pretty impressive. We have, already wide open, a pretty good center sharpness, and also the corners are usable. The distortions are minimal. Unfortunately, we don't get a lens hood. The minimum focusing distance depends on your zoom range. It starts at 15 cm and goes all the way fully zoomed out to 35 cm. The downside is that it starts at a relatively slow aperture at f4.5, and as we zoom, the aperture changes. And here is my surprise for you, because I created this chart for this and for all the other lenses, showing you which focal length triggers what kind of aperture. But when you're traveling or shooting street scenes, you're probably around f5.6 anyway, so it's not that bad. As you can see, it's tiny, so it makes it perfect as a daily carry without being a burden. So yeah, for a 155 gram, 5.5 ounce lightweight that is travel friendly, it does the job fairly well. Just sometimes I wish I would have a bit more reach. And that brings me to this one. The Lumix 20-60mm is like the 18-40mm bigger brother who eats more vegetables. For only $50 more, we get an extra 20mm reach and a faster aperture. But also here, as we zoom, the aperture changes, and I created this chart for you, showing you which focal length triggers which f-stop. It starts at f3.5 and fully zoomed, we're at f5.6, not too bad. What's interesting is that before we reach 25mm, the tiny one, the 18-40mm lens, is a bit sharper. But as soon as we get past 25mm focal length, this one outperforms the 18-40mm lens. The minimum focusing distance is 15 cm, which gives us a 0.43x magnification. Pretty good. Filmmakers will love the fact that the focus breathing is minimal. Although this lens is a bit wider, 20mm is still a great focal length for vlogging. The optical design is 11 elements in 9 groups, and the front filter size is, like on most Lumix lenses, 67mm. It weighs only 350 gram, 12.35 ounce, and although it's not as small as the 18-40mm, it is still great for traveling and as an everyday carry. If I could describe this lens with one sentence, I would say, this is the Swiss Army knife of Lumix zoom lenses. Now here's something that most of you probably didn't see coming. The Lumix 14-28mm. Why I would recommend this lens is because it gives us fantastic viewing angles between 115 to 75 degrees. And this leaves a lot of room for creativity. For a retail price of $798, it's a bit more on the expensive side. Yes, also this lens changes the aperture as we zoom, and here is a chart for you so you can see which focal length triggers what f-stop. This lens is great for real estate, photos and videos. If you're a single creator like me, you always have to come up with new ideas, how to film yourself and how to show your environment, how to make it look interesting, and this is where the 14-28mm shines. In this case, I put it very high, close to the ceiling. If you don't have such a high tripod, you can use one of these Shine carbon fiber extension rods, And then you make the lens look down as if it was a surveillance camera. That's pretty cool. Or if you want to capture yourself in an entire scene, you want to show the environment, you put your camera on such a tiny tripod, set it in the corner, and this is what you get. So it's really great for creators. The minimum focusing distance is 15 cm, which gives us a 1:2 macro reproduction ratio and a 0.5 magnification. 14:28 gives you a really great image quality, and the creative options are endless. Next is the second most expensive lens on my recommendation list, and that is the Lumix 28-200mm. It currently retails at $998. This one starts at f4 and goes all the way at 200mm to f7.1. That means you need to have really good lighting or a high ISO or a slow shutter speed, but thankfully this lens is equipped with stabilization that you can easily pair up with your IBIS of the S9, and that really works well and gives you very steady shots. The range is insane. 28mm all the way to 200mm, and the best part, it weighs only 413 grams and has the size of a prime lens. The front filter size is 67mm. The minimum focusing distance is 14 cm. That gives us a macro reproduction ratio of 1:2, a 0.5 magnification. The image quality is solid, but I have to admit that at 200mm it is not the sharpest knife in the drawer. The images are a little bit on the softer side. Also, we have some chromatic aberrations to deal with. Not severe, but I have to mention it. But for what this lens is, and for its compact size, it is pretty impressive. To get such a zoom range in such a compact size makes this the most versatile and travel-friendly zoom lens that Lumix has to offer. If you want a lens that can do everything, well, that's the one. As you know, the S9 doesn't have a grip, so I tested a few of them, and I have to say the small rig was too small for me. The Sirui gave me a really good feeling. It was sitting well in my hand, but it was a little bit too big and heavy. And I found the golden middle with this one. This is the Haogi, I hope I pronounce it correctly, HGSB9. I'll leave affiliate links in the description below, and if you're in the market to purchase anything, any lenses, any camera gear, and you would use my affiliate links, it doesn't cost you anything extra, but you would support my channel, which helps me to buy more gear for more reviews like this. Many people mistake small camera bodies for poor image quality. Don't let the camera size discourage you from attaching professional lenses. The S9 has a fantastic sensor built in and therefore can produce professional results. And that's also the reason why my tip number 5 is this one, the 24-60mm f2.8. I know the 20-60 would be a bit wider, but the 24-60 is faster and better. We get a superior corner-to-corner image quality and a consistent aperture of f2.8. And that's why this time there's no chart, because when we're zooming, the aperture we select stays the same. With 1.2 pound, 544 gram, it is a bit on the larger side, but having a grip, it balances beautifully on the S9. When I was looking for the perfect subject for today's video, I spotted these two girls across the street and I told them about the YouTube channel, and here we are. Because of its amazing image quality, this is, hands down, the most sought after Lumix zoom lens, and it's on back order almost everywhere. When I bought this lens, it retailed at $898. but Panasonic decided to raise the price, and now, just a few months later, it costs $1,048 plus taxes. As you can see, this is the survivor of my 24-60 versus 24-105mm lens battle. And if you want to know how these lenses compare, you should watch this video here next. So, what's your favorite zoom lens for the S9? Is there one that I forgot that deserves a spot on the list? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. Till the next time, stay safe, stay tuned, and take care. Bye for now.